Hi guys, we are going to go over a quick tutorial on how to read a stock quote. So I pulled up the Google Finance tab and I'm going to go over some of the information that you can find on a stock quote to see how it's doing. So I pulled up Kohl's, and you can tell that by the top here where it's Kohl's Corporation. It is exchanged on the New York Stock Exchange and its abbreviation is KSS. Looking at the information here, you will see that for yesterday, the last sale of that stock was $44.43, which is 42 cents higher than the previous day. So this stock is actually up from the previous day. And I'm going to go over some of the information here to the right so you understand what kind of information you can find out about your stock. So the range here, and if you scroll over it, it will give you a definition, but the range is how the range that stock sold for the previous day. So the cheapest it sold for yesterday was $43.57, and the most expensive was $44.44. So it closed pretty close to the highest point from the previous day. 52 weeks is looking at the 52-week low and the 52-week high. So the lowest that Kohl's ever are in this year, 52 weeks traded was $35.16, and the highest was $59.67. So again, if you're trying to make money, you would want to try to buy as close to the low as possible and sell as close to the high as possible. That's going to give you your capital gain. Open means what did this stock open at yesterday? Its first starting sale point was $43.94. So you can see that's where they got that point increase of 42 cents from the open yesterday. The volume is how many shares were sold yesterday. So this is 4.27 million shares were sold yesterday during the operation time of the stock market. The stock market does have an opening and close time. Coming over here, I'm going to skip these two you don't really need to know for now. Dividends and yield. So dividends are a way that the company shares their profit with you throughout the year. Some companies give dividends and some companies do not. So if you're looking to have your stock kind of feed your income or supplement your income throughout the year, then dividends might be something that you look for in the stocks that you're going to invest in. So this one, Kohl's, gives a 55-cent dividend per stock that you own. So if you only own one stock, you're going to get 55 cents. But if you own 10 or 20 or 30, you'll get 55 cents times the number of shares that you have. And some companies pay this out quarterly, so 4 times a year, semi-annually, twice a year, or annually. So it's something that if you're looking to have some kind of supplemental income, dividends from your stock investments could be an option. The shares here talks about, and if you again scroll over it, the number of shares total that from this company that are being traded. So in total there are 168.58 million shares of Kohl's Corporation that is out there that people own. So that's kind of the information that you'll need to know from the top. Range, 52-week, open, volume, dividends, and shares. Now going down to this chart, because this chart is really useful, I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. This chart's going to give you an overview of how that stock did the previous day. Now, the stock market right now is closed, so you'll see the closing price. But if I were to pull this up during operation hours, you would see this in real time, which means that the graph would constantly be moving and changing because it's keeping track of what's happening right now. So you can see right now that around 11 it was up, around 12 it came down, and so on and so forth. I can also come out to 1 month, so you can see that within the last month it made some progress. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years. So over the last 5 years, you can see that it's come down a little bit. So the fact that it looks like it's up here is a much smaller scale than if you're looking here. So you want to make sure that you're keeping a good idea of what the overall performance of this stock is. If you continue to scroll down, you will see related companies that Kohl's might compete with, to see how they're doing. So Kohl's here looks like it's doing the best out of everyone in its class, compared to things like Nordstrom and Macy's and JCPenney's. So all of those are competitors that if you want to see how it was doing against its competitors, this kind of gives you an overall view to see what's been going on. I'm going to scroll back up here. Now this news over here is really important, and again, if we were during open time where this was real time, you would see letters along here, maybe an A here, a B here, a C here, and those letters correlate to these letters over here under the news. So for example, if we saw that A was here and there is a jump in the stock, well, is it because they have different news feeds that are saying, here's some things going on that could affect your stock? Okay, so those would be tagged throughout your chart as well. The other thing I would like to bring your attention to is we have the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Now, I want to repeat again that if the stock market was open right now, there would be an option for you to click on the Dow Jones and see how your stock is performing against or in comparative to the Dow Jones. So is it higher or lower than the 30 most popular stocks? So remember, Dow Jones, they take 30 most popular stocks and they average them. You can also add the S&P 500. How is it going against the largest 500 companies? So you'll be able to see how it's doing that way. Again, because I am doing this after the stock market is closed for the day, those options are not available. But if you were to see this, they would be.